In our breaking story today, transparency is dead. In a panic move, Kash Patel has done something very shady in the Renee Good case, something radically different than the FBI's handling of Charlie Kirk's case or the Trump assassination case, something that tells us how deeply Trump's goon squad effed up in Minnesota. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, and please hit that subscribe button if you want them to pay for this.
This morning, we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV, and today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. To Minnesotans, I say this: I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully, as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this: please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community, they're business owners, they're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait.
Yeah, don't take the bait, because something just started to smell fishy in Minnesota. Earlier today, in our breaking story, FBI Director Kash Patel has made a very telling decision, and that's broken down in our featured video from earlier today with MS Now national security correspondent David Rode. As you'll see, it stands in suspiciously stark contrast to this standard operating procedure.
And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent. We're committed to that transparency.
There's that word again, transparency. That Charlie Kirk victory lap that Kash Patel took was shared with local partners. Why would the murder of Renee Good be any different? Well, we're about to find out, because in the fouling of the memory of an innocent 37-year-old mother and prize-winning poet murdered by masked goons in broad daylight, well, doggone it, doesn't this fish stink from the head?
It's very clear that this individual was harassing and impeding law enforcement operations. Our officer followed his training, did exactly what he's been taught to do in that situation, and took actions to defend himself and defend his fellow law enforcement officers.
Okay, here's our very telling video, our video of the day from MS Now. As every good detective knows, suspicion starts when the person of interest breaks routine. Check this out.
We have a breaking development on the investigation into the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. The FBI is now taking sole control of this investigation, banning the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension from having any access to the case materials, to scene evidence or interviews. Let's bring in MS Now's David Rode for more on this. David, what do we know about this decision, why it was made?
The statement, according to the Minnesota state investigators, is that the FBI reversed course, that this initially was going to be a joint investigation, and now they've said the FBI will handle it themselves. That is very unusual. If you look at the Butler assassination attempt on President Trump, that was a joint investigation. The killing of Charlie Kirk, that's a joint, local and federal investigation. And that's how most investigations like this go forward. There are sources and resources that local law enforcement has that the federal government doesn't. So this is very, very unusual. And, there'll be a lot of questions about why is FBI Director Kash Patel doing this on his own and what prompted this.
Yeah, it's unclear who made this decision specifically within the FBI or why, right? What was the role of local or state investigators when it came to a joint investigation? Do we know?
Well, normally they would go out and interview witnesses. Again, we saw all this in the shooting in Manhattan at the building that happened here months ago at the NFL headquarters. Local New York City police detectives on the ground in Utah in the Charlie Kirk case, go talk to witnesses. And what the Minnesota state officials are saying is that they are not going to be allowed to talk to witnesses. They're not going to get access to basic, it seems, investigatory material. And that's very, very unusual. And to be honest, given the politically charged environment, that's just going to cause more suspicion, more partisan division. And I think it's really bad. One of the positive things about law enforcement investigations are when they are transparent. And that doesn't appear to be happening here.
Well, David Rode, thank you. Keep us posted as you learn more.
Yeah, they've got something to hide, all right. The truth. Renee Good was murdered in cold blood in front of the world, and the fingerprints are the video. Now, think about this. According to unsubstantiated reports,
our law enforcement has arrested murderers, known and suspected terrorists, child pedophiles, and other brutal criminals that were protected here in this city.
For all the talk of unrest and violence, well, there has been only one murder so far this year in Minnesota.